All right, I recently got my copies of your boy Zach's latest endeavors, if you will. And these are different from the previous projects, which were, graphic novels, they're, thicker books and whatnot. And these are actual floppies. So the first one was Pandemic, and then the follow-up, Do As You're Told, The Ballad of No. Pandemic, it could have easily have been an Image Comics storyline. And of course, it's timely. It does play into our current era of 2020, and goes into that. Oh, there's a sinister plot behind it all and everything. But for the most part, Pandemic is just full on action. It's all about this woman who stumbles into this. She's a thief, and she's on the run, and it's basically really an introduction to a wider story, and had certain plans, I imagine, had gone forward as they're supposed to. Say a certain Texas-based publisher was allowed to continue their relationship with your boy Zach, you could probably have these in your favorite comic book store, like all the other floppies, and just pick it up like that. Very simple. But instead, no, not allowed, and thank God for Indiegogo, which have been very successful. But it is that thing of where you have to go through and you have to back the project, and then for your reward, you get the product and all of that. And I've often thought about how much of this is the sympathy and the agreement with the ideals and of how business and the customer relationship should be, and all that as it applies to comic books that Mr. Meyer discusses quite a bit on his channel and all that, but also people who just, I think his story ideas are cool and I want to see them. You can weigh it back around. Certainly the overall movement is huge with this, and but that's part of the aspects. I mean, his competition, which would be, the mainstream comic book companies and all that, and what they've done to themselves has created a market in and of itself. So it's not any less legitimate in the desire for his product and all that. But that being said, the quality of these are top notch, even better than what the big two had delivered. In some cases, certainly Marvel has been really lazy in that in a lot of ways, and all that. So he's delivered on that. I didn't check out the Iron Sights series, and now I'm kind of regretting that. But there'll be other opportunities. But that being said, if this was normal, if he could just go through a publisher and it would be on bookshelves, so. Anyway, Pandemic is pretty good. The art is very solid. It's not as good as I would say as some of the Jawbreakers efforts, but it's pretty damn good. It's pretty solid. And if he keeps with that for this character and all that, then fine. It's good. I want to see what happens next. It did its job. It brought me in and all of that. And it's a nice little read. It's just the idea of this is what you got to go through to get a guy's floppy comic, I suppose he could have waited on it, but I'm sure and this is smart on his part, is to constantly put out product as much as he possibly can. To maintain interest and all that, and that's perfectly understandable. And I'm sure at some point he'll probably collect all this in one volume or something like that, and that sort of thing. But anyway, a good introduction to this, and it works out. There is the odd thing of the appearance of the heroine here in regards to her choice of haircut. Well, at least it's not purple or blue or green, but I suppose it could be. Yeah, but it's all well explained. Her abilities are not too far. She's not ridiculously suddenly with toothpick limbs beating the crap out of Navy SEALs and that sort of thing. It stands to reason and holds up with some amount of credibility. And it ends on pretty much like in a movie type deal here, where she's going to be recruited because she performed so well in extraordinary circumstances and whatnot. So it's a to be continued story for the next project. Meanwhile, this other very strange story is actually the follow-up to it before you get to the actual next story. It says to be continued in a story called Theosophy. So that's what this is kind of a setup for. And I don't know if that'll be a floppy or if he's going to do, a thick trade paperback or graphic novel, what have you. But I didn't even realize this at first, and when I saw it, and then there's a little advertisement for the Ballad of No, that it's in the same universe. Oh, it's the Splotto universe. And it works. It actually works. And the thing about why I'm regretting perhaps not backing Ironsides, I don't know why. I just thought I was more gung-ho for Jawbreakers, because I got the idea that Meyer was, and he talks about this a lot, about the early days of Image Comics and how much he loved that stuff. And I believe Team 7, I believe, was his favorite comic book, and stuff like that. And so I thought this is more of what he would do. He's open to other stories. He's done reviews of them on his channel and that sort of thing. But as for himself and what he would produce, I just assumed this would probably be his best. All that. It's good, and I had fun with it. I actually liked Lost Souls better than God King, but none of those compare to the greatness that is the Ballad. I just love this comic. And it's a floppy, but good Lord, is it good. And this is one of these examples of there's a power in simplicity, and there's sort of a minimalist approach. And I don't know if it was a time thing, or maybe this was a way to draw faster for Kelsey Shannon, who did the art here. But I don't care. It works. It makes great use of the black and white format. And I wonder if they had spent more time and put color in it. I think that would be a mistake. Of course, there's sometimes people want to put black, white, and red and stuff like that. And I can see there were scenes where red could have appeared, but no, I would hope they don't try to do a new edition with color, because I think that would ruin it. And it's this fascinating thing. I don't want to say, I don't mean Rorschach in the Watchmen character, although I can see where you could make that even with this character, and to some degree. But it's like the scheme of the patterns of the black and white art is, you kind of see that of forming on the pages and whatnot. But it's a fantastic story, even though it's rather simplistic in some ways. And it's very fast, and you kind of like, damn, I wish there was more to it. And of course, it also has a to be continued for Theosophy. So I'm guessing our little buddy No here will be on the same team as the Pandemic Lady. So, because he does demonstrate some abilities here, because he's on a whole nother level than everyone else. So, of course, there's humor to it in a way. It's very reflective of what we've just been through and are still going through, and all of that, and how it plays in. And it is his best work. It's because some of the things I thought there were some failings in Jawbreakers and whatnot, where there was an attempt at a joke or whatever, and I just kind of, I'm not so sure about that. This one, man, it's spot on. This is, God, boy, he's hit a new level with this. I don't know if he was trying to, and maybe this is more of the direction he should go. And it's almost a superhero story with this guy. It's maybe he's created a brand new superhero, but it's really good. I really, really enjoy this. And I don't know what Theosophy will look like. I guess it would look more like the Pandemic comic book. I don't know. That would be interesting to see how the other artist does know and all that. But I would love to see more like this, even if it's just another story. It's so it despite all the chaos and stuff. I mean, it's all the play in a mad world, the insane man is king. And boy, that does seem to be the case. Plus, very lucky. There's one scene where it's just luck. So you get your happy ending. But Yeah, it's really great. And the sad thing, again, coming back to what I talked about earlier, I wish I could just link to where you can pick up your own copy. I can, but I'm sure in his next, probably part of the Theosophy thing, there'll be a perk where you can get, the previous copies for the story all together. And hope, I'm sure that's what he'll do. And there where you can catch up on the story, which I highly recommend that you do, because this was his best yet. I really, really do like it. So Santa Claus came early. I had a good time reading it, and now very excited to see more, so that it's not just because I happen to, for the most part, agree with Meyer over this whole crazy situation with the comic book industry and that sort of thing. I, more times than not, vehemently disagree with him on movies and TV shows. Not all the time. Sometimes, he makes some good points here and there. But, oh, boy. But that's another story. But, yes, well done, Mr. Meyer. Well done, Kelsey Shannon. Do As You're Told, The Ballad of No is fantastic. And in my humble opinion, Mr. Meyer's best work.
All right. Thank you for watching and listening. Why not like and subscribe and check out that link description below. That'll take you to my mini stores that have plenty of goodies for you. Hats, mugs, stickers, posters, all that goody stuff. Plus, you can head over to IndiePlanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book Night Night. Oh, yeah. Plus, you can also catch my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, over at RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on my channel at BitChute. That's the Mr Nailsin channel on BitChute.com.